Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Rodian Radio. Boy, oh boy. Alright, so tonight we are going to break down parts 4 and 5 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Really hope everybody is following along with us as we do these breakdowns. I know several people like them. We enjoy doing them. But before we get into our Kenobi breakdown, I want to give all of our sponsors here at Rodian Radio a big shout out. First up, we got Dr_Awesome_1010. We got Commander Phoenix _88 Legion. And we got Lego Shock 0451 Official. If you are watching this via YouTube, as we talk about our sponsors here, you will see their social media pages and what they do and create on the YouTube video. And our last sponsor here, we want to give a big shout out to the Photoverse podcast over on Spotify. That is a toy collecting and toy photography podcast. They are great guys, and if you want to hear me on Rodian Radio, if you want to hear me, Chase, on the Photoverse podcast, go over and check them out on Spotify. That was over a 2-hour show of nothing but just nonsense Star Wars and collecting talk. But we had a great time during that episode, and hopefully we can get them guys on our show in the near future. But without further ado, we're going to jump on into our parts 4 and 5 of Kenobi. Also, if you would like to become a sponsor yourself for Rodian Radio, it is completely free. Just send me a message on any of our social medias or our email at rodianradiopc@gmail.com. And as always, thank you so much for listening to Rodian Radio. If you are watching this via YouTube, please drop us a comment, drop us a like, help subscribe to our channel. It's completely free. If you are listening to this via audio on podcast, if your podcast of choice allows you to leave a review, please do us a favor, rate and review us. It really helps us break the algorithm to get our name out there more in the podcast world, especially the Star Wars podcast world. We are not the typical Star Wars podcast. We are New Center for Star Wars. Yes, Rodian Radio. We really appreciate everyone checking us out. Next week, after the finale of Obi-Wan Kenobi, our shows will go back to a regular scheduled program, which is every Friday morning at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, or 9 a.m. wherever you're at in the world. Somewhere. I'm getting confused with my times. Anyways, let's break down parts 4 and 5 Kenobi, and let's go.
I have a bad feeling about this.
I don't sense anything.
Hello there.
This is Master Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Rodian Radio presents the Obi-Wan Kenobi After Show. Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Rodian Radio. We are here to talk about everyone's favorite thing and the best thing ever created on the face of the earth, and that is none other than Star Wars. But I'm not here to do it alone. I'm here with my good friend and yours from a galaxy far, far away, Mr. Danny Cruz.
Hello, everybody.
Whoa,
No,
what is
kidding.
this?
No, just kidding. Okay.
What is this? I thought we already invited a micro fan on this show.
No, how's it going, everybody?
Oh,
It's been
boy.
a while.
Yes, it has been a while. We apologize. We did not put out a show last week, but we wanted to save parts 4 and 5 of Kenobi for one episode, since part 4 didn't really give us a whole lot to make a show out of. I'm not going to go off. I can already hear people. That's because it was a filler episode. Get at it.
Yeah, keep it coming.
This whole show is a filler show, if you think about it. It's a filler show.
Mm-hmm.
From a certain point of view. Okay, so we're going to talk about parts 4 and 5 of Kenobi. Got some quick Star Wars news before we get started here. Taika Waititi, as we discussed on the last episode, he is in charge of the next Star Wars film. He was recently, I guess, in an interview, or maybe he just made a statement and went public with it or whatever. But he said Star Wars needs to steer away from nostalgia, and his plan for his movie is to create something that nobody can tie anything about what we already know about Star Wars into. And I'm okay with that.
Something new.
Yeah,
I mean,
something new.
I trust him.
Not a Disney new, because Disney went new but tied it to what we already know, which didn't work.
Not saying that's a good thing, you know. Taika Waititi or Taki or that
Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi. That guy directed. Well, he's currently releasing his movie Thor Ragnarok. I mean, Thor Ragnarok already came out. He did that.
Yes, he
And
did
he's
Love and
also
Thunder
doing-
now.
That's coming out soon.
He
And
was Korg in Ragnarok,
Yeah.
and he was IG-11 in The Mandalorian.
and then he was also in Lightyear.
He was?
One of the characters. He's in the movie. Yeah, he plays one of the main characters there.
Cool.
And then he also directed. I think it was nominated for an Oscar. It was Jojo Rabbit.
I think Taika
Where-
Waititi understands what his audience likes.
Yeah, he's got a good sense of humor too.
He does. I'm a big fan of his. So if he wants to create something new that we've never seen before, I'm totally down for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally down for it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything you want to say before we jump right into Obi?
A couple of Black series that came out.
Yes,
they
that's
released-
true. We did have some Black series.
Yeah, so out of all this whole time, people, this whole time we've talked about how like Black series is going down the toilet, which it still is. They're putting cloth on like the new.
You know what they realized, Danny? They
Stormtroopers,
realized
yeah.
that they lost their two biggest supporters, which is me and you.
Yep.
That's all it is.
It's yeah. So like you see all the it's cool that they're releasing all these things, but knowing how they are with pre-orders and everything, we're not going to see them for a couple of years. But that's
And if
all
you
I
actually get these figures, I'm happy for you.
I really am too. And you kind of hesitate to open that in the box, but you got to roll the dice sometimes.
Yeah, we got the so it turns out that was not 4-LOM in Kenobi episode 2. That was a droid we'd never heard of. I think it was 1-JAK was the droid's name, something like that.
Jake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jake from State Farm.
Yeah, something like that. And then we got a new Purge Trooper release, and then we've got the whole Kenobi wave, 2 versions of Kenobi, a Vader, and the Inquisitors. And it's a very solid wave.
It is, and not respectable, dude. But that fan made Mezco Obi-Wan Kenobi, I thought that was real. I was ready to pre-order that.
Yeah, that was good looking. But yeah, Hasbro, I'm impressed by what they did with this Obi-Wan Kenobi wave.
But it doesn't matter because it's not going to be released until next spring, and that's a maybe.
Yeah, if I see the Inquisitors in stores, that might be a few Black Series I pick up just to have the whole Inquisitor wave. But
I think I would just do Vader and Obi-Wan, and that's about it.
Speaking of collectibles, I now can check off my A New Hope set because I recently got Chewbacca Hot Toys.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most expensive figure I have, and I got him at discount.
Yeah,
So
it's actually pretty authentic. Like it looks like it has the fur. It's not like the
it
plastic
is. It's
fur.
real fur.
It was put some work. There was some work into it.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's why it's so expensive. All I need
Chase
now
it.
is C-3PO and R2, and I'll have the complete original trilogy New Hope set.
That's awesome.
And I also got a few clones come in last week. A few 501st, and
can never get enough of clones.
no, you best bet I'm gonna get probably 2 or 3 more.
You need to get the. When are they gonna release the Geonosian Flame Troopers? In the Clone Wars, they started.
Those would be so great.
They started barbecuing the bugs.
Yeah, the bugs.
Yeah.
Those would be awesome to have in Hot Toys.
Or what if they had a Hot Toys AT-AT? You know the size of that?
I would take a second credit card.
You can take another loan.
Yeah. Oh boy. All right, so that's the new releases that we got from Hasbro. I haven't really seen anything from Lego or Funko Pop or anything, so let's get on into Kenobi. We're going to start with part 4 since it is a smaller area to talk about, and then we'll spend the rest of the time talking about this masterpiece of an episode, part 5.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so part 4, we get that Obi-Wan, he goes to. I'm sorry, I just can't get over how the name of the Inquisitor's base is the, what is it, the Inquisitorious Fortress or something like that.
I didn't even know it had a name. I thought it was
Yeah,
just
it's like the
their HQ. I thought it was just HQ.
no, it's got a name. Let me look it up. I want to see if I can find it because I laugh every time I hear it.
Do they say it in the show?
Yes, I think so.
I don't remember them saying it. Hey, that's how. I already forgot about that episode.
Let's see. It is the Fortress Inquisitorius.
No comment on that.
I'm sorry, but it's just so funny.
They're just trying to copy a Fortress of Solitude, but like make it sound not as cool.
Fortress Inquisitorius. I guess we now know why Obi-Wan was so able to sneak by, is because they had a ridiculous name. So they didn't have the best security.
Mm.
And if you notice, they had a bunch of stormtroopers walking around, and stormtroopers can't see squat. So we got.
You want to go with? You want to start off with your how you thought about the episode, and then.
Yeah. To me, I give the overall rating on that episode, part 4, a 7 out of 10. And
7?
the only reason I've ranked it so high is because there is a lot of good storytelling in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's not a lot of action, but there is a lot of good storytelling, like the whole Reva interrogating Leia and her being able to defend the Force through her mind, where Reva
Mm-hmm.
says you're strong. To me, that gave purpose to show that Leia is a true Skywalker, and she doesn't know, because she doesn't really use, she doesn't tap into the Force like Luke does, but it still shows how powerful and strong Leia is even at 10 years old.
Yeah.
So that was a good story arc right there. This episode to me felt like it was Obi-Wan's redemption. You know, in part 3, he failed. He knew he was disconnected from the Force. He knew he was weak. Part 4, you could see him trying to gain a little bit of his instinct and skill back from the prequel era. And then by the time we get to part 5, we actually see Obi-Wan. So the bridge in between being disconnected to getting to reconnected through the Force from Obi-Wan's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what this episode did to me. Now, don't get me wrong, there was a lot of cheesy choreography, like the smacking the stormtrooper helmet.
Don't even get like. Okay, first of all, like you're in a military base, right? And then they're just like, like dancing through, like nobody's gonna see me. And then especially what got me the most was that, like, Obi-Wan's hiding Leia underneath his coat. Like it's a joke of an episode. Like,
Well, it's like I said, there was stormtroopers everywhere, and they can't see anything.
yeah, but I mean, that's the excuse that they use. Like that's horrible. Like if it was a single, like I know a season, like, or a show, like not all episodes are gonna hit, but this is like rock bottom. Like I
Well,
almost.
every TV show has their good and bad episodes.
It does, but like the things that happened just didn't make sense. Like the slapping thing, and then Reva, right? She's deflecting like pretty much like missiles from the snow
Yeah.
speeder, and it's shooting at rapid fire. And then what blows my mind is that same snow speeder can take on AT-ATs, and AT-ATs have pretty tough armor, and like hitting the sweet spot can blow it up. But no, Reva's like, nah, I got this. Like she's just swinging left and right.
Well,
And
you could defend that with saying, after seeing part 5, how much rage Reva is fueled with. So
if she
maybe
had so
that
much rage,
rage.
then she should have
Well,
blown up both of them.
maybe the rage was helping her power the dark side of the Force. That's how she could deflect missiles.
Yeah, but it didn't really look like that, Like it
It
just looked
didn't.
like.
It just looked like something that we don't have a big budget for this episode. Let's just throw this in.
Oh, please don't talk to me about budget with Disney. They got like at least like 10 commas.
Hey
in
man,
there.
they had to spend all this budget for this season finale that we're hearing rumors about. That's going to be an hour and a half
An
long.
hour and a half. So that's basically a movie.
Yeah. So, and they had to spend all that budget just to get Ewan McGregor to put that episode 2 wig back on.
Oh, we're not there. We're not there yet. We're not there.
I know
Yet.
we're
But
not there yet.
listen,
I
one
can't
day,
help it. I'm already making the memes. I can't help it.
one day at Disneyland generates one episode there. So
You're
think about
probably right.
But anyways, like okay, you're actually right. Besides, like they did tell a story, right? But like if it was like if I just read the script, right, I'd be like, that sounds pretty good. But like what I saw was completely different. Like you know what I mean by that? Like
Yeah, it's
it
like
was
the Book of Boba Fett. It looks good on paper, but it doesn't
looks
look good on
actually it looks
screen.
good. Actually, it did look good visually, but
Visually, yes.
yes, yeah.
But
Like they're
visually
not all gonna be winners.
storytelling, no.
Yes. But like they're not all gonna be winners. But I guess you see every single Star Wars thing has like a rock bottom thing. Like they hit rock bottom and then they instantly like.
Well, if
just
you
shoot
wanna
to the
if you
sky.
wanna take it back to quote unquote filler episodes, the first
Okay.
season of Mandalorian had 3 of them right in a row. We go
Yeah.
from episodes 1, 2, and 3. We get the background of Din Djarin and why he's doing what he's doing. Then we get the backstory of Grogu, and then the next 3 episodes are him on a prison ship, him on Tatooine with a knockoff Han Solo, and then I'm pretty sure the last 2 episodes was one big finale cut in half.
Yeah.
So if you
I
want
mean,
to, if
I
you
think
want
it
to
was
take it
different
all the way
because
back,
I think Mandalorian. I don't defend Mandalorian to be honest because it's a whole different character, right? We're
you're
talking
just
about.
a Mando simp.
I am a Mando simp, and this is the way.
It's, I saw after this part 4 of Kenobi came out, I saw a guy make a TikTok, and he was like, right before part 5 came out, he's like, so if we're going based on what Disney does, we all know that in these series, episode 5, Mando's coming back.
No.
Even one of my buddies was like, I was really expecting Mando to show up. I'm like, no, it doesn't fit this part of the universe.
This is way before that. Yeah, but anyways, like that's all I really have to say about episode 4. Like, yeah, it did send a message, and then Vader walk. I think that whole like him like the camera shaking and walking like.
Yes, that scared me a little bit. I didn't expect it to be so rough.
Well, like what I found out of Vader's character, in my opinion, was that he didn't just like snap her neck, and at the end of story, like
But
he
after seeing part 5, we understand why Vader didn't kill her.
yeah,
He was playing her the whole time.
yeah, of course.
And
Yeah,
I
he
can
just
already hear all the people. The Grand Inquisitor is dead. Oh, they brought him back. It's a trap. Oh, I like this show now. Like, come on. You're not a real Star Wars fan if you really thought they were going to retcon Rebels,
I
which
don't
is
know.
canon.
Yeah, I don't know. I
had my suspicions, but I was never one of those people that was like, what? What?
You know what? That was me a little bit. I was like, wow, they actually dropped the ball. Because the direction that how I saw it was going, I was like, I I guess it was a small buildup. It's like when you're shifting from first gear and then they went all the way to like sixth gear. Like that's literally what they did. They were on first gear for the first like 60% of the show, and then now it's like, all right, let's add in Duel of Fates. Let's sprinkle Duel of the Fates in here.
But so I guess we're done talking about part 4, correct?
Yeah,
okay, so in part 5, this one
By the way,
episode,
I gave it a 4 out of 10.
A 4 out of 10. Okay, that's reasonable, I guess. So, but this part 5, this one episode took the whole direction of this show and changed it 180.
It shifted it. It definitely. Imagine if that was the first episode.
It completely answered every questions that we've had up until this point, and it shifted the whole direction of the show in one episode. If I didn't know better, I would say Dave Filoni was a part of this in some way.
Yeah, he always has to carry the. I'm telling you, he's a second half kind of guy. The fourth quarter. You just
Dave
chase it down.
Filoni, they were struggling writing this episode, okay? Deborah Chow gets on the phone and she's like, "Hey, Dave, I've kind of hit a wall here." Dave Filoni just says 2 words: Force Unleashed.
And that's it. He hangs up the
That's it.
phone.
He hangs up the phone.
The number you've dialed has disconnected or no longer
Yeah.
exists.
And then Deborah Chow they literally put Starkiller in this episode.
Reva is basically Starkiller because she goes after. We've never seen a Sith on Sith. I don't think I've seen
Not
that
live
live
action.
action. No, not live action.
No.
And
No,
then
but
like it's so funny, dude. Like, I mean, it was funny because it was so disrespectful to Reva because like Vader just used the Force. Like if it was like an air canister pushing her away,
he
like
didn't
just
even touch his own saber.
he
Not
did.
one time.
And then he broke her saber, right, like a Twix bar, and then threw it to her.
He gave her the left Twix.
Yeah, he gave her the left Twix, the bad one.
I thought that was a straight up boss move from Vader, just taking her saber from her,
That is a straight up 100%
disconnecting it, and
disrespect.
throwing it on the ground like, "Now pick it up."
Straight up disrespect. And then the Grand Inquisitor comes in. He's like, "Oh, I have the upper hand here."
Revenge does wonders for the will to live. I love his dialogue.
Yeah,
It's great.
very comedic guy. I remember the photo I sent you where he's in the hospital. He has his thumb up.
Yeah, he's got his thumb up. But a lot of people are already
No, I'm not gonna
saying,
lie. The Vader's. We'll get to that part, but like
I believe this is
the
Vader's
Vader suit,
best scene.
dude, the suit looks so nice. Like his eye, I don't know when he changes his lens, but this version is pretty nice. Like his lens are like black, like soulless black.
And you can tell that Hayden Christensen is in that suit.
Yeah.
Just by the way he stands and walks, you can tell it.
Even though I'm a big Empire Strikes fan on this, I think Hayden Christensen plays Vader really well. And then
Yes, really well.
what he just gets like a boost in is just James Arnold.
And he was walking through that base with one purpose only, and that was Kenobi.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't care about anything else. And, I've already seen people say, well, why couldn't he grab the second ship? Because if you think about it, anger clouds your judgment.
You get pretty tilted, so you get some tunnel vision. Like when you're
Vader
tilted
Vader went in there on a one-track mind. He only wanted Kenobi. That is all he cared about. And he was so angry and distracted till he didn't sense Kenobi wasn't even in that ship.
and then when you're like tilted for 10 years or something like that, like it's just out of instinct,
I think this show is doing a very, very good job of the way that they're writing and executing it, of showing how filled with rage Vader is towards Kenobi.
And I was also watching when Hayden Christensen showed up, when they basically did pre-Attack of the Clone thing. I think you know what this show needs. I think, like, don't get me wrong, John Williams is a really good music, but I just feel like it's lacking in music.
Yeah, that is one little nitpick
version.
I can put. We need a little bit of some sort of nostalgic music.
Yeah, because the music has been very quiet and like calm and like not like
even
dramatic.
If it's just like a little bitty tiny episode 2 music snippet in that flashback, it would have been great. But I loved it either way, music or no music. I thought they did a fantastic job with the way they look.
The music would have been just like, honestly, like like when you add flavor to like your meat, that kind of thing. Like, it makes it better.
I think the flashback scenes for me, that was the only moment in Star Wars history that has ever made me so emotional to the point that it brought me to tears.
Because they did. I think it was the only one that did flashbacks to Attack of the Clones, basically.
Yes, and just see when I first saw that.
How many people hated Attack of the Clones?
And now everybody's, oh, Hayden's back. Hayden's back. We love Hayden. No, you don't. No, you don't. There's very few people who actually liked Hayden Christensen.
Take it easy.
Always and will always be my Anakin Skywalker.
Yep, no one else.
But back to what I said, they had to spend all their budget just to get Ewan McGregor to put this wig back on for episode 2 flashbacks.
He didn't. I get people are saying like, oh, he didn't look the same as Attack of the Clones. I'm like, nobody does. But honestly, Hayden Christensen didn't look too bad.
No, I didn't pay no attention really to how old he looks because
It didn't even make a difference because I
it
was like,
didn't, because he
it is.
played Anakin so good. You can definitely tell that Anakin was Anakin and not Vader in the scene, and you can tell that Hayden Christensen actually did his research, and now I believe he actually watched the Clone Wars to get
And
the
Rebels,
attitude.
and he got Rebels too.
Yes, and I believe I believe him when I hear him say that he watched those, because his attitude from when he's Anakin in these flashbacks and when he's Vader is completely two different separate acting abilities.
Mm-hmm.
And I
That is
thought he
not
did.
easy.
Just the scene where Obi-Wan and Anakin are back to back, and Anakin says, uh, you can't have mercy and expect to win against an opponent or something like that, Master. Just when him saying Master, like, that is Anakin.
Mm-hmm.
That is Anakin. And his smile when he's like, now your weapon's gone. You lost. Like, that is just Anakin. And then you got Obi-Wan. Your victory blinds your judgment or something. I'd have to rewatch it to know exactly what they say word for word. But the acting was just great.
And I think that was the first episode where they had both of them back together. And the last time they were both on screen, technically fighting or on like that, was Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, and if you notice, while they're doing the training course, the choreography for that flashback is the same as Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
And
Except it was basically the same, but it was like one was rage and the other one was like, I guess, learning or training. If you
yeah,
put it like that, yeah, like simulation, you know.
yeah. And the flashback scene, to me, this was just a very well written episode, because we start off with the flashbacks and then it cuts to Vader, and every flashback is parallel to what we're seeing in present day time.
Clones.
It is so parallel, and it's just brilliant writing, in my opinion.
I think was cool was when this part I wasn't clear, but I'm sure it's I'm sure we can clarify this. So when Reva was talking about when she knew Vader was Anakin, right? When Anakin killed the younglings, right? Did he stab her when she was a youngling,
I thought he did.
or like did he just let her live? Because I'm like, that's a high. I'm like,
I thought he
that's no.
did. But if we want to go off into deep dissection about it, Vader
She
didn't
got
kill
stabbed twice.
Starkiller
True.
when
But
he
he
found him
stabbed
as a
him.
kid.
Yeah, but this is like the beginning of Vader. This wasn't like in the suit Vader, you know?
But he did
And he
stab
was,
him, and Starkiller didn't die. And if we know
yeah.
anything in Star Wars, gut shots don't matter unless your name is Qui-Gon Jinn.
Like he got shot at, and like
But
you said gunshots.
I thought, yeah, gut shots.
Oh,
Stomach.
they said gunshots.
No, gut shots.
Okay.
Unless you're Qui-Gon Jinn, you're not gonna die from a gut shot.
Yes.
But I thought he did stab her, but then again, it might have just been something Reva was imagining because she was in trauma at this moment.
And she just like fell or something. I guess she fainted or something.
Maybe there was a Padawan standing in front of her.
Oh, and then like she just like played dead or
Yeah,
something like that.
and she had, and that's what the first person scene we was seeing was Anakin stabbing the Padawan in front of her.
Yeah, and then like she just knocked out. Like,
But
I mean, I guess.
but just to see, this right here, this episode proved that Vader is not stupid at all. He knew the whole time what he was doing. He was playing Reva. He knew her plan. He even says it himself. Did you really believe I did not see it, youngling?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, that's just chills, man. It's so dark and it's so menacing. But I think Vader and the Grand Inquisitor have great chemistry together.
They do in the show too, because and then they just understand each other because the Grand Inquisitor was a Templar.
Yeah, they knew each other before the Empire.
Yeah, it's like they just like like one company like died and they just moved on to the next. They were like, oh hey, you're here too. All right, nice.
Now, I did hear somebody say they don't understand where this next episode is going. And we'll end the show off with our predictions for the next episode. But I don't have a problem with the way that anything in this episode was played out. I think this episode right here was the holy grail of Star Wars live action series.
Hmm.
Even better than that Book of Boba Fett episode.
Okay. I would hold that thought until we see this next episode.
You're right, because an hour and a half of Star Wars.
If technically, as of right now, you are correct. You know what I mean? Like,
I cannot believe we agree on the same thing.
Yeah, and I was like, nope, I don't got anything bad to say. It's clicking because
just for our listening audience.
Because what you just said right now, when you said it was perfect, I thought of Anakin.
Yeah. But just for our listening audience, I did tell Danny. Wednesday, when this episode came out, I did tell him. I said, if you have one problem with this episode, you are fired from Rodian Radio.
What did I have a problem with?
And so he's still here. So you're welcome, everybody.
What did I have a problem? I'm trying to think.
No, don't think. I will fire you right here on a recording.
All right, let's hear it live, ladies and gentlemen. This is how hard it is because I have to think.
Okay, so there's going to be a job post next week for a new co-host.
No, seriously, like if it's hard for me to think of something bad, because usually I'm on it, like I'm literally on the spot with it. No, yeah, I agree. But I would wait. I would hold that thought until this next episode.
Yes, I really hope these rumors are true. I really want to see an hour and a half of Star Wars.
Let's say an hour 15 because of credits, you know. Like,
yeah, still an hour. Still. But yeah, I loved seeing Vader. I believe this might be Vader's best scene in live action over anything he's been in. This scene just shows you how tapped into the dark side Vader is.
His best scene yet. I forgot to add the little detail there.
Yet. Yes. Okay, yet.
Because we're still waiting on episode 6.
Yet. Okay. I believe this is Vader's best scene yet.
Thank you.
Because this scene shows you how in tune with the dark side of the Force Anakin has become. It shows you how much rage he's got towards Kenobi. And it shows you just how he doesn't put up with anything. He does not care about anything except for Kenobi.
Yeah.
And I already heard people say, I don't know why he let Reva live. We're talking about Vader. Well, I'll tell you why. I believe he let her live just to let her suffer.
Dude, he was literally trolling her. And
he was.
He was DDoSing her so bad that he gave her the lightsaber so that he wasn't bored.
Okay, so we hear Obi-Wan in that flashback say, and your need to prove yourself is your undoing. Until you conquer it, a Padawan you'll always be. And in that scene, Obi-Wan took Anakin's lightsaber. Which, by the way, if you notice, this flashback scene was before Attack of the Clones because Anakin had both of his hands, and he had his lightsaber that he had in the beginning of Attack of the Clones.
It wasn't the same one as after?
No.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
It was the one that that was destroyed in the droid factory.
Oh.
It was that lightsaber. But anyways, what I was saying, though, is in that flashback scene, Vader does the same thing to Reva. He takes her saber, and he humiliates her. The same thing Obi-Wan did to Anakin. So I believe Vader...
That whole fight, he didn't say one word.
No, and I believe that Vader let her live just to let her deal with the humiliation and suffer taking a lightsaber to the stomach just because the Grand Inquisitor showed up.
Yeah.
The will to live is I just love his dialogue. The Grand Inquisitor, Rupert Friend is such a great actor for that character.
I remember you do, but I don't know what happened. I think in the trailer they made his head the size of Squidward, but it
may have been normal. Yeah, it looks normal.
I think it's the angle or something.
No more Humpty Dumpty.
I think it was the angle or something. I don't know, man. Maybe he shaved off a pound of makeup from there. I don't know.
Yeah. And I love their suits. While I was watching this past episode, I was like, this is out of the Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian, this show has a big screen quality about it. It doesn't feel like a TV show budget.
On certain parts it did, but I'm being nitpicky, but overall, yeah, it wasn't. I'd
But
say
this
like
one
it was like
episode alone, the
90%.
visuals in this one episode alone were stunning.
Yeah, the lightsaber light ups were all pretty like HD. This was like 4K light up.
Yeah, this was just stunning. This was a perfect episode.
Yet.
No, this was a perfect episode, period.
Yet.
So what would you give this overall rating of this episode?
Say a 9 out of 10, like a
A
solid
9 out of 10?
Yeah.
Well, I have seen it.
You said if anything was less than 9 out of 10.
I
I'm
have.
not saying that to keep my job, but I'm saying that as a solid. I would say 9 out of 10 because I think they're giving Leia too much time, man. But like other than that, I was like, we didn't need to see like, it was like a couple minutes. It was kind of dragging, but I was like, like we get it. She's fixing it. Let's let's move on. And then she had to like strangle fight her droid, bring them pretend there was like tension there. And then like it was back to like Vader and Kenobi. Yeah, 9 out of 10 though.
I could argue with you and say, well, in A New Hope, we seen too much of Luke.
Because it was about Luke. Wasn't he the New Hope?
But I am not that person. Please, I can already hear people. No. I give this overall rating a 10 out of 10 for me. 10 out of 10. It was perfect for me. I do agree with you, though. I didn't think we were going to get this much Leia, but I'm okay with it. Because I know that we're going back to Tatooine in the next episode.
Yeah, and then she's going to be gone.
I just really hope this is the only problem I'm going to have with this show. Is if Luke and Leia meet before A New Hope.
Yeah,
that's the only problem I'm going to have.
I mean, if they're not going to kill the Inquisitor, I don't think that's going to happen. Oh, doesn't Reva know that there's this dude on Tatooine now? Or she knows Luke's on Tatooine?
Well, all right, so let's get into our predictions for the next episode. The way that I think this next episode is going to go is we know that Reva is going to Tatooine. She's going to basically take Luke hostage and Owen. So I think, and Obi-Wan knows that Vader is following their ship because their hyperdrive is out. So my prediction is they're going to get to Alderaan, but Kenobi is going to use an escape pod to draw Vader away. And so that'll put Leia back on Alderaan. Vader will then follow Kenobi. He'll tell all his forces to forget the rebels and follow Kenobi. We're going to get on someplace. I don't think it'll be Tatooine, but I think somehow Obi-Wan will use Vader's rage to his own advantage and draw Vader away, and Tatooine just to find Reva. Now Reva is on Tatooine because I believe she is ticked off at Obi-Wan because the plan failed, and now she's going to blame Obi-Wan for why she wasn't able to kill Vader. And I think Obi-Wan is going to end up having to kill Reva.
Yeah.
And that'll end the show right there. And so, but
no.
But
Vader's gonna fight.
This past episode, there will be a fight. Yes, there will be a fight. There's got to be. But this right here, this episode to me, it explains so much about In A New Hope when we hear Vader tell Ben Kenobi, "When I left you, I was but a learner. Now I am the master." This past episode showed you that Vader is still learning from his mistakes, and he still can't become a master. That right there, it just lined up perfectly for me.
Yeah.
But that's how I think the next episode's going to go. There's going to be a big fight. They'll get laid back to Alderaan, and Obi-Wan will get away from Vader and end up killing Reva to save Luke.
What if Palpatine shows up and just starts electrocuting Kenobi, and he ages 10 years,
Oh, that'd be cool.
and he gets his gray hair?
And then how does he get out of it?
So maybe Reva stops him.
And then Reva dies.
Yeah, Reva does. And there we
That's
go.
a good thing. I'm
There we
sick
go.
of seeing Palpatine. Oh no, he did say. Remember, we went to the.
He did say we would see his presence. Ian McDiarmid did say we would see Palpatine's presence.
That could be, yeah, that could be it. Maybe she like dives in front of him.
Yeah.
And then he can. I don't know. Darth Maul shows up.
Darth Maul. Now I will say, when I seen Vader break Reva's saber in half, I thought that we were going to get the origin story of how Darth Maul ended up with an Inquisitor saber in Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me fan fetching.
Yeah, we're reaching at that point, but it's never about to reach.
So that's it. That's all you're predicting for the next episode, Darth Maul.
No, there's more. Qui-Gon's coming.
Qui-Gon's got to come, or else it was a whole letdown disappointment of the first few episodes.
We are getting Qui-Gon. We are getting
Boba Fett.
Vader.
We're getting Boba Fett.
Please stop my brain. Anyway.
We're getting Max Rebo. We're going to see Max Rebo in the cantina. Mark my words.
Just kidding. Anyways, so Qui-Gon, Reva, Obi-Wan fight. Reva sacrificed her life to save Obi-Wan because now she understands that there is hope to kill Vader through his son. His son will kill Vader.
I didn't think about that.
Because she sees like the son of Skywalker.
I didn't think about that.
Yep. And then so I'll go back to the next one, and it's Vader, Obi-Wan fight, and then it's like I feel like the fight will end like both sides damaged.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And like both sides damaged, and then like a wall of fire, or like I don't know, a freaking like Sarlacc pit.
But hey, that's why we need an hour and a half, though.
Like a Sarlacc pit would divide them. Like some force needs to divide them because they will not stop fighting each other. So there's going to be some type of force like dividing them. And
you know,
end the show.
If this rumor that we are getting an hour and 33 minutes of a season finale, one, that tells me there's no season 2. Second, that tells me that they know this is their last episode and they've got to bang everything out to take place for A New Hope in an hour and 33 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's going to be so long. So yes, I really don't believe there's going to be a season 2.
I might stay up for this, to be honest. It's too good, man. Too good.
It is too good, but on the other note, I don't feel like there's much story that they could tell in a season 2. And it be the same timeline.
I don't know.
What if it's a season 2, but it takes place in the Old Republic?
With Kenobi, how does that make sense?
And we get to see Kenobi's backstory of him being a Padawan.
So we do a prequel within a prequel?
Yeah, a prequel to the prequel. We get to see Obi-Wan's brother.
Yeah. People are saying it's Owen is his brother or something.
I brought that up on our last episode.
Yeah.
I like that fact.
What I do want is, I don't know, if you really notice, like, see, the thing about Black Series and Hasbro, and they don't release the, like, figures or any of, like, the posters or whatever right when the show is showing, you know, like, for example, like, Funko Pops, they're already on it. I think
Lego does the same thing. Lego spoils everything.
Yep. Like, it's, like, I mean, like, because I want the figures to be released, like, at the same time the episodes are released, you know, because you feel like, whoa, like, I literally just saw the episode
not going to happen
night.
with Hasbro.
I know. It used to. Remember, it used to happen?
It used to, but it won't now.
Nope. You need to forget about it. But if they did, I feel like they would generate more because then they have posters up, like with Jurassic World. Like, they have, like, posters. They have dinosaur toys. They have everything. They have the whole, like, the whole shebang, you know? I don't know what's lacking with them. I think Hasbro needs to lose their license with Black Series. Like, please. What if NECA started making Star Wars figures?
I think NECA could do pretty decent figures.
They do 7-inch, pretty detailed. They give you a box with accessories.
I think
But they look
Hasbro
like
just needs
monsters
to go
inside.
back to the old ways that they used to and bring back Toys R Us.
Yeah, Toys R Us exclusives. Yeah,
No exclusives at all.
exclusives should be banned.
They should. There should be no exclusives. I don't ever see any G.I. Joe exclusives or Marvel Legends exclusives. It's just Star Wars.
Because Star Wars is different, man. I don't know. Well, maybe it'll get better in the future. We'll see. But as of right now, we gotta give it time.
Yep. Well, I think that's going to do it. You got anything else to say before we wrap up?
No, I'm just gonna wait for episode 6, and then just go with it.
Yeah. We're excited. I know I'm excited.
It got me interested. It got me a little hyped.
And for anybody out there just complaining about anything, nobody cares about your complaint. Just shut up. Stop it. Get some help.
Seek help.
Yeah, get some help. If you don't like Star Wars, go on to Marvel.
Yuck.
I mean, we don't hear the Marvel fan base tearing each other apart. So, but all right, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Rodian Radio. Join us next week as we break down the finale, and then after that, all of our shows will go back to regular program scheduling every Friday. We got our 1-year anniversary episode coming up. Gonna do a lot of good fun stuff on that episode. And then next month, I don't want to give it away, but Rodian Radio will be doing an exclusive show from someplace in a galaxy far, far away. So keep in touch. Please, if you're listening to us via YouTube, podcast, wherever, we appreciate it. Do us a favor and subscribe to our YouTube if you're listening to us from YouTube, or follow us on our podcast platforms. Leave us reviews on your podcast of choice. We really appreciate it. It helps us break the algorithm so we can get noticed and more viewers, so we can bring you more content, more celebrity interviews. We really appreciate everyone checking us out. Hope you're all enjoying Kenobi. And until next week, this has been Rodian Radio. This is Chase.
And this is Danny.
And may the force be with you.